just how you are numbers-wise on the back of Chesterfield and going into Doncaster, illness and injury and whatnot.
Yeah, the illness that was in the camp, in the squad last week, we still had remnants of it. So that's Aidan coming off, was really probably not eaten for 6 days prior to that game because how ill he was. And then there's a few of us that's affected. Brandon wasn't in that category, but he went to see the doctors yesterday and has been given the all clear, so he trained today, which is good. And then we've got a couple of niggles from the game that have been rumbling on for a few weeks actually with a couple of players, and I think they just at this stage of the season the after effects immediately after the game are just actually expected, and then we know it's like a 3-4 day build up to being fit again really. So that's normal really for this stage of the season in any squad.
So they're manageable and can be manageable and available.
Yeah. That's it. It's they haven't trained today, but listen, if we had a game tomorrow, they'd probably train today. But we're just giving them the time to recoup as well as possible to be ready for the game.
And is this time between Chesterfield and Doncaster beneficial to those that have been suffering with illness, just more days away from it and building that fitness up?
Yeah, it's not through building fitness, it's just their energy reserves, like eating properly, drinking, sleeping, eventually sleeping, because some of them have been struggling to sleep as well. So it's just been that really. So it's probably stopped them from being able to prepare as a professional footballer should. But they're still putting themselves out there for us and out there for the teammates and maximising what they can give us on match day.
Kieran Kelly and Michael Mellon, what are their situations?
Yeah, Kieran obviously hurt his ankle. He's been for a scan. He's actually started jogging today, but really light, just to speed up the rehab process. So we're going to see if he can still be available this season, but it looks very doubtful, to be honest. Michael has had a knee grumbling for a few weeks, but it just got too sore. I don't know, it must have been last week. I think it was 2 days before the Notts County game maybe. And he's been out on the training pitch today, but not with us, with the medical team. So I'm going to see how he is tomorrow.
In the aftermath of Chesterfield, how have you gone about breaking that game down with the squad because of how well you played in parts, but then sadly to lose the 2-goal cushion that you had?
Well, we've done it in the way that we've always done it, where we don't hide away from things that we need to improve on, but we also emphasise and strongly emphasise all the good stuff that we did. Because I thought, for me, considering the previous 2 games, to show that bravery that we played with in and out of possession, it just shows what this group's about. I was so excited watching my team play. That's the feeling I got. I was so excited. I was going, we've got our team back, because the Swindon one was a hard game to assess with 10 men for 80 minutes. It's a difficult one. When you're talking about structure and tactical stuff, you probably try and because you're a man less. The Notts County game for us was a disappointment in our performance, because I don't think we played with the mentality of a top team. I thought we played almost too respectful to what Notts County had to offer. We still should have, from the leading point, we still should, I believe, see out the game to win. But like I said about McGoldrick's goal, it was a fantastic goal. But in general terms, even if we'd have won 1-0, we would have looked for a better performance and a more assertive and confident performance. And that's what we talked about on Friday, and showed them some clips about what they've done, just in training, how we play. When we're responsible for our teammates, we're responsible for what's expected of us. And I thought they showed that on Saturday for large parts. We should have been outside at half time. That's the only, I would say, thing we have to learn from the previous 2 games. The previous 2 away games. Is the timing of the goals we've conceded. Certainly, at the end of both halves, that have been rewarding for the opposition, as in morale. But I'd say in both games we responded well, because even when we went to 3-3 at Swindon with 10 men, we still then took the lead again with 10 men, I must add. Yeah, it's not a normal game to score 4 goals away from home and score 2 when we're at 10 men down with 10 men on the pitch. But even Chesterfield game, it could have been a knockback for us, conceding right on the half time. But then we went and scored again straight after half time. So they're talking about start of the second half, next goal important, we went and got it. So from that point, I think we're the team that's in control. But we lost a little bit of discipline in possession. I think we became a little bit, it's like last 10 minutes, last 5 minutes. And then unfortunately the players coming off the pitch, unfortunately, 100% left us a bit disjointed with people missing already from the game.
Yeah. Sam Walker spoke to us after the game and said that with these 2 games remaining, I think the phrase was, we have to be the calmest team in the room with what's ahead.
Yeah.
And quite simply, 2 wins and we're a League One team. It's as simple as that. I know it can be as simple as that. But,
simple to say that.
Yeah. But mentality is the point I'm looking at here. Is how important is that? I know we talk about mentality a lot, but from a performance standpoint, you're creating chances, you're creating goals. So is it the mentality that's potentially going to be the difference here?
I do. Well, psychologically, I think is where our game, and most games, to be honest, and it's why we talk about in pre-season about building that resilience, that mindset, because when you get to this stage, it can be the difference. Because I think if you're at this stage of the season and you're in the top 3, you're a good team. So we're playing against a good team and we're a good team. But you have to play like a good team and behave like a good team. I don't believe against Notts County we behaved in our actions like a good team. I thought we looked like they're a good team, we're not. On Chesterfield, no, we knew we were a good team. And that's what we went out with. But we need to then not get into a protection mode a little bit, as psychologically in our minds, because I think the way we play is that way anyway. As in, like our pressing, our aggressiveness, and trying to attack the opposition at all times, does have a defensive aspect to it as well. If you're 70 yards, 80 yards up the pitch attacking their goal, you're defending at the same time because they're nowhere near your goal. So I want us to defend that way rather than go back and defend that way. That's unfortunate. But sometimes I've been there as a player. It's a natural urge, and I think that's where the discipline comes in to go, no, we've been here before, let's step forward. And there's spells in games, and games will to and fro all the time. No one has complete domination, and we just got to make sure that we get that defensive strength back, which we've had all season. The last 2 away games have been quite strange on both sides of it, really. I think we've scored 7 goals in 2 away games. I think it's took us 4 months to score 7 away goals before that or something. You know what I mean? But on the other side, we conceded 8 goals, and I think it's took us similar time to concede 8 goals in away games. But we have to take sort of like a bit of composure in that, because 5 of those goals were against us with 10 men. So it's a bit difficult, But I have been really pleased with how creative we've been in those last 2 away games, especially.
You've been with this group for a long time, some of them longer than others, but you know these players, you understand this group now. What's the sense of their what's your sense, of their mentality? What do you see of them coming into these last 2 games?
I know what look, there's different aspects of mentality. So there's motivation, there's inspiration, there's discipline. So they're not all the same thing, but they all come from the same thing. Our motivation is always there. I've never had to stop a training session all season in pre-season go, lads, any chance of working hard? It's not happened, not once. It's always at the level it's expected to be. And we've gone through so many different peaks and troughs throughout our season, which we know we always face. The lads are determined, they're focused, we just have, and it happens to every team when you don't win every single week. There's always the devil and the angel on your shoulder, isn't there? You know, and it's which one do you listen to at certain times. And I think when the pressure comes on, I think you start listening to the devil a little bit. You know what I mean? And that's when we have to be. That's when the discipline comes in to go, now I'm ignoring you. I'm listening to this guy because this is what we do day in, day out. And I think that's where our game is. And when we do that, and that's what we went into that game against Chesterfield like. That for me, that was the best 45 minutes we played. For me, against a good team away from home. You know, you got to take the opposition into account as well. Very good team, and we completely dominated them, and it should have been over at half time. So we have to and coming off the back of what had happened to us in the previous two games, that shows that these lads have got the ability to perform at the highest level under the most pressure, and when you're not going into it full of 8-9 wins on the bounce behind you. So us going into the game on Saturday, we have to take all that positive stuff out of the performance the other day and the goals we scored and so forth, and then just extend it. So we've already done what we have to do. We just have to do it for a little bit longer in a game against another very good team.
Yeah. We've just spoken to Neil Byrne, who understandably looked at it as any other game Saturday. That is probably experience talking. Fans are obviously excited, nervous about what lies ahead on Saturday. I mean, some are describing it as the biggest game in 7, maybe 20 years for this football club. Is it that point more than ever this season that it is just another game?
Yeah, but it's easy to say those words, okay? And we all know what's at stake for both teams. Both teams in a similar position. So you know it's there. It's the periphery, and it's what it potentially means in this. But then you've got to refocus your mind and go, okay, but what's my job today? That's so. When he's saying it's just another game, he knows what the game means, or potentially could mean, I should say. But when it comes to the kick-off time, what do I have to do today? It's not what does it mean if we do this, what does it mean if they do that, this, that. What do I have to do today? And that's where you have to start talking to yourself, start the discipline now, all season really, because that's what we've tried to approach it like, hoping that we would be in situations where there's big games with a lot on the line, and we've built up a bank of understanding of how we approach games. So it is say the normal stuff coming from Berner, and I'll be saying the same, you know what I mean? But we all know what it potentially could mean, and I'm glad the fans are excited. They've been excited for a long time, I feel, which is brilliant, you know what I mean? And that's, you know, we just have to justify it, and it has to be tangible, as we say, and ultimate success, and that's what both teams are chasing and are after. And both teams have done a lot over 44 games to be in this position, but neither of us have got anything sealed.
I know you've chosen to not be on the touchline in the past, but will it be nice to have that option to be there on the touchline now?
Yeah, I'll be on the touchline. Yeah. That was it's my own fault. You know what I mean. So after taking the chin, I can't blame anyone about it. I prefer to be with my team. It was a thing where it was last season, and I think we picked up good wins in those couple of games, and I felt it was something that I could help manage the team better with, but I think there's an emotion side to our team, and a feeling between us all, and I think the closer I am with the players with me and the coaching staff and all that, I think that we're better for it. And we've got good eyes up in the stands anyway. When Trury sits up there and Scott the analyst with Jamie, we get good information and good clips at half time anyway, so and during the game. So I prefer to be on the touchline with the team, to be honest.
I know this question normally follows with you telling me that it is more about what you do and what you can control in yourselves, but just a quick word on Doncaster and what they've done this season, and I suppose what kind of game you're expecting.
A tough one. I think it will be on similar lines to Notts County game, to Chesterfield game. I think it's those all start the season with aspirations of being successful at the end. So Doncaster are the same. They were up there last season, got obviously into the playoffs. So they've had as good a season as we have. probably obviously 3 points better off, but they've won a lot of games similar to us. I think they've played in different ways. I know they played a different way against us at home to their previous games. So I think we have to keep an open mind about what type of game I think they took into account. How much we press and stuff like that when they came here and sort of sat deep on us. So that could come into play as well. So it's for us. This is why I really try to stick to it's what we're about, because teams change. They change in game as well. Chesterfield changed in game, so I think that had more as just as strong an influence the other day when we lost players. They changed something tactically as well, and we just didn't have the personnel to see it through, or the time to be able to get everybody in. You know, there's players playing out of position or just coming into the team. It's all those moments happen in games, and you have to do your best to manage them. So that's why we try to, as much as possible, get our game to be the most important thing, because if we don't do that, then we're playing second best straight away.
And finally, from me, one player that they've got, Luke Molyneux's been having a great season this season. The numbers stand up to that. Will you put specific plans on one player? Will you look at him and see how you can try and counteract his abilities?
No, we haven't done that all season. We didn't do that at Birmingham. With a £15 million striker. You know what I mean? And to be fair, apart from the goal he scored right in the half time from set piece, kept him really quiet. I think our structure, our discipline, our connection between the players, because we don't man mark anybody, or we don't go, that's your man. It's positional how we defend. So they've got more than one good player. You know what I mean? Similar to us, you can stop Sars, but then you have to stop Pato, and if you stop him, you've got to stop Bobby, and if you stop them, you've got Cav. You know what I mean? I think they've got good players throughout their team as well, so never any special plans for one particular player.
Best luck, Graham. Thank you.
Thanks, Jamie.
So Graham, obviously back on the touchline, being part of the team. I mean, do you think that's important for the players as well? Because when you're up in the stand, you might have a different view, but it's a little bit detached in it. And given what's going on, at this occasion, it's important that you're sort of there, front of, sort of front row sort of thing with them.
Yeah, I think some players will respond well to it. Some players might not. I don't know. I think there's two sides of it. I think I get a better view and have a better tactical understanding of the game that's going on. But you're right, the connection is lost between me and the players direct. Because I have got quite a loud voice, and I can get myself heard. I can get messages on straight away, immediately. It's sometimes difficult. I'm sat right in amongst the fans the other day, and the walkie-talkie ain't the best. Yeah, so the communication was difficult. So I think just for the feeling aspect of it, really, because you can feel a game, and I definitely can feel our performance. To be honest, I felt it from the stands on whatever day it was, Monday, because all of us did, didn't they? All the Brad fans were feeling that performance. It was magnificent, in the first half especially. But I just, I've experimented with both. I prefer the touchline. Some players might prefer me up in the stands. I don't know. You know what I mean? So it's, no. I think I'm there to help the players. Told them that this week. All the staff. We're here to help them. That's our only concern, is to help them perform to their best level.
So I think you're talking about fans. We've had lots of messages. I'm sure James had the same about supporters sort of fearing this club's missed its big chance because of the winning positions you've lost in the last few games. I mean, how do you sort of answer that sort of fear amongst supporters?
I don't really know, really. No, it's a natural reaction, isn't it? It's we all have a bit of that in us. The little missed this, that. But you have to just reframe it and refocus in your mind, and just think, like Sam said the other day, 2 games to win promotion, they're in our hands. Not 2 games that are going on elsewhere. Our games. We're playing the team at the top that have got what we want, and we've got a chance of taking it off them. It's a brilliant situation to be in. But you're right. But I'm saying, but you look at the points tally of the whole division. There's 5-6 other clubs going, just if we'd have done that, and if we'd have done that, and if we'd have done that. So we're all in the same boat. You know what I mean? Or someone would be 15 points clear and have it all in the bag, and no one's there. So there's 5 or 6 clubs that have had the opportunities. We're one of those. But there are some circumstances around that. I don't know of other clubs, to be honest. I don't look at them all for that. But we have to. I think the most disappointing one was Mondays, because we had 11 men and stuff like that. The Swindon one I can understand because we were under severe pressure. But what I would look at, me personally, is we've been a team that's defensively strong all season, home and away. We've scored a lot of goals at home. We haven't managed to score a lot of goals away from home until the last two, where we scored 7. That might be something to be hopeful about.
Obviously, going into this game, the only so much up in the air. The only guaranteed scenario is if Doncaster win. Obviously, they're promoted. I mean, that sort of, can you play on that a little bit in the sense that they'll be thinking, this is our big party, this is our big moment.
I don't know, because I think it's a potentially big moment for both clubs and both teams. So honestly, I don't really go in for the focusing on what they're thinking, what their scenario is too much. I want us to take control of our destiny by being the best version of us at all times. And I think if you're looking over there, you're not looking at what we've got. And the biggest thing for us is to know our game inside out. Under moments of pressure, under events that happen in the game, because I would say that has been something that we haven't done brilliantly well. Events that happen in the game, then how do we just respond the same way as we have done? I felt we did that the other day, with the goal just before half time, and then we scored straight after half time. I thought, now the team's back on. We're recovering from those situations. And I think in general terms we did, but the game got scrappy at the end and we lost control of the possession. We had different personnel playing different positions, all that sort of thing. But I've seen from Swindon through Notts County to this, I've seen improvement in our performance. I've seen improvement in our discipline. I've seen an understanding from the players about when we're at our best. And as long as you know what you are when you're at your best, and you just keep repeating those things under moments of pressure, that's where the key is. So I won't be talking about their scenario at all. It's irrelevant to me. I just want to see my team. I saw my team at Chesterfield, and that's more important to me than focus on someone else.
I was going to ask about, obviously George Lapsley's not come off the bench the last couple of games. I mean,
yes.
I think the simple thing is you're losing midfielders. You don't have a midfielder, but presumably he's not the type of player who could sort of play that more defensive role that you obviously brought on Aiden against Notts County and then Romney on Monday.
Well, look, it's quite in simple terms really, because look who we're trying to replace. It's Richie Smallwood. That's who we're missing right now. Who's been there for us all season? Who's his skill set has allowed us as a team to get to this position. And what is he as a player? In general terms, is he a bombing in the box, scoring loads of goals player, or is he a defence-minded player who fills in spaces and lets other people go on, in a good way? That's what it is. So when we need that player, or when we've needed that player, we've done it this season. We've had Aiden in there earlier in the season. We've had Jack in there for a part of a game. I remember playing Sam Stubbs in there last season, and we won the game. So I think Pep Guardiola's put John Stones in there, I think a couple of times, or maybe a lot of times. So I'm just trying. I know what our team has in different spells. So I've said it a few times. Not one player ticks all the boxes that we need to win a game, but the team should. You know what I mean? So we have defence-minded players, we have pace, we have skill, we have attacking men. So all in that, and I believe at that stage of the game we needed that type of player. And like I say, but it wasn't just one change, there was 3 changes. There was this, that, the other. They changed their formation and shape and this, that, the other. So George Lapsley is a good player, but he's an attack-minded player, and his skill set is running forward, making third-man runs, getting in the box, scoring goals. It's not protecting or being protecting a back 3 when our wing-backs are going and other players are going and one of our sixers is gone. You know what I mean? That's where it is. So George has trained really well. I could have brought him on, but not in that position. I think I could have brought him on in one of the other positions in an attack-minded way, but I don't think his skill set is suited to that.
It does, the fact that no side's done the double over your career, is that a little motivation for you as well? I mean, you had a prior record, a brilliant record this season.
Yes, look, there's always detail there that you can build into, and I'm sure there's detail there that's negative as well. So it's what you want to sort of focus on. But yeah, that's a stat that I think I'd rather not lose to anybody, to be honest, even once. But I think we've even our defeats. I think there's only been 2 by more than 1 goal. So we've always been competitive, and we've always been in games. We've never been blown away or anything like that. So I think there's always bits and pieces in how you perform and in the results which you can build your game from and take little bits from and just give inspiration and hope to get a positive result. So, but I think the players learned a lot about our game on Monday. From our previous 2, not previous 2, because the Notts County game especially. The contrast in how we approached both games was massive. So I think our players have learned a lot between those games about what we have to do to be at our best, and a lot of it is in respecting ourselves at the utmost level.
Your fans, I mean, you have a reduced number of fans. You could have taken a lot more at Doncaster. We have some back here in Bradford as well. I mean, you'll really feel them. They'll be behind you there, and they'll be behind you 30 miles.
We always feel our support. The support has been magnificent. It's like you mentioned, Bromley away on a Tuesday night. Over 500 plus. That's commitment. So. Look, we obviously take, or we have took in the past, bigger numbers, but it's not our decision to make, and we're not in control of that. But listen, we know even if a Bradford fan isn't at that stadium, I know where their focus is, I know where their support is, I know where their heart is, and that's what we've got to carry forward into that game. We've got to sort of almost take those people that are missing, that can't be there with us, but they are with us inside, and we have to take that into the game. And we're always so grateful to the support we get, home and away, and we also understand how difficult it is for people to get to games. So, it's I'm sure the atmosphere will still be great, and I'm sure our fans, however many we've got, will sound like 3 times as much anyway.
You touched on it earlier. In these next 2 weekends, potentially game management could be ginormous, couldn't it? As big as ability, but managing the match, the game.
Yeah, it is. I think you have that all the way through the season, but as you get closer and closer to the finish line, it ramps up a little bit, because there's not 20 other opportunities after it. But it builds up on everybody, and that's it. And I do believe who handles that the best at times. And things will go against every team in games. It's just about how you think about it in your mind and just park it, and I think over dramatising things or expecting the perfect game, just be at peace with that straight away, that's not going to be the case. There's going to be difficult moments, we're going to be uncomfortable, but remember how we train, remember how we talk, remember how we analyse, remember what we've worked hard for, and just stick to those things. We've already shown we're good enough to beat anybody. We haven't got to go and do anything extra special on Saturday. That's the way I see it. We've just got to be consistent.
Yeah, I'm going to ask you a little bit about supporters. I did a Doncaster game recently. Lewis Gibson, an ex-Bradford player, played under his former club's Carlisle. He scored a couple of goals, set one up, and he was interviewed afterwards saying that the Carlisle fans were giving him some stick and saying how much he thrives off it. And it could be potentially another situation, but you'll be hoping your fans get behind your side and avoid any of that sort of stuff.
That's just normal banter in a football ground. Ex-players playing against their former clubs. It's that happens in the game. I think it's part of the fun around games. I think it's generally good-natured. I think sometimes it can cross the line at certain times, but in general terms, I think that's standard. I think our supporters will go there, be focusing on us, like our players will, like I am. I think they just want to see their team perform at the best level, which we saw big chunks of it the other day. They recognise their team again. I recognise my team again. That's honestly, after the game, obviously the soreness of conceding that last-minute goal, that late goal to concede, was really disheartening. Yeah. But underneath it all, I was like, I think my team's back. Yeah. That's what I genuinely felt. And then when we came in the next day, I was like, no, they're out, and I love working with them.
Yeah, very best of luck.
Cheers, mate.
So just talking about conceding those last minute goals, Can you pinpoint why, or is there any concerns about those last minute goals that you've been conceding in away games?
Yeah, Swindon, we had 10 men. Just so I can remind everyone about that, you know what I mean? Because 10 men for 80 minutes is tough away from home. And before that period, I think we had the best record in League Two for conceding goals in the last 15 minutes. So I'm not going to go overboard on one game or two games. I'm going to look at the season as a whole and understand that we've been very good in those periods in the previous 41 games maybe.
And then you spoke a little bit about Richie Smallwood. Do you think his suspension has added to the defence lapses in the midfield? Is that something you've been struggling to sort of make up for, or like as a team that's been something that's playing on?
I think, look, even if it had been someone else sent off at Swindon, we started Richie, it's still 10 men, so it's difficult. But we might have managed those bits. That's what I talked about when we're looking to replace his skill set. You know, the general say he's a good player, he's a good footballer, but you know he's renowned for being in the right position at the right time, sensing danger, filling in pockets of space, all that sort of thing, and it comes through hundreds and hundreds of games. And when someone has been so consistent in your team, I mean in the team, for, you know, well, I don't know, maybe 80 games on the bounce or something, and then he's just taken out, and it's such a big player, there's going to be a period of adjustment, you know, of that. So I do think I do think the other day, maybe not Swindon because of we were man down, but I think the other night we could have done with Richie without a shadow of a doubt. So there's no point in me trying to disguise what a good player Richie is. But there's other players that we've missed this season that have equal amounts of high impact on our team. But I think just because of Richie's longevity at this club and since my time is here, it's really unusual not to see him in those pockets of space and picking up the right positions. So we're trying to get it into people like Brandon, but then Brandon's ill at half time, then I'm looking around who else do I have to drop it into now. So it's been 2 or 3 players, and that's where our difficulty's been really. But yeah, and we're going to have to do it for another game at least, and I'm sure we will.
And so you talked a little about building that psychology and that mentality of going in to that game against Doncaster. Is there anything specific you do to build that mentality in players as a coach, as a manager, but then also in the younger players? And is there something that takes place specifically within the games? So let's say at half time or just before you go on, to make sure you're getting those early goals in?
Look, it's one where trying to improve a player in 24 hours from A to Z is impossible. So we do it all the time. We do it from day one of pre-season, knowing what's going to come forward and come through the season. And with the younger players especially, we're trying to give them the tools to manage a 15-year career or something. So we're constantly talking to them about how to prepare for a game, how to recover from a game, how to analyse a game themselves. You know, so we're giving them that skill set to be able to understand the game and so forth. And with the motivation and the inspiration, I think we're always trying to do that, but it's not just from me, it's from coaching staff, it's from the players themselves. You know, we've got great pros in that squad that have been over the course that can help each individual around there. We get messages of support from fans, get little cards sent to the training ground and stuff like that. There's so many people with us trying to support us and help us that it's really fulfilling to have that support around us. But so yeah, it's no one set plan, because the problems are slightly different from time to time, and you have to understand the problem first, and that's what I try to do. I try to understand the issue and then try and give the players a solution from it. And I think if all people, players, coaches, feel they have a solution there, then I think you're already on the step to being better as well. So, but identifying the problem is the hardest part sometimes. But we've got more than enough good people in the building to help that sort of course of action.
Brilliant. And I know you said you're concentrating on your own performance and you're not going to be speculating about the other teams, but have you been keeping an eye on the fact that teams at the top of the table currently seem to be losing points? Is that something that you're keeping even half an eye on, something that you're surprised about? Any emotions about that?
No, I think we're not unique in the scenario where we're frustrated at our points tally over the last few games. I think we could have won more, but I think there's other teams probably looking at their performance and think we could have won more as well. When you see some of the results that are coming around at the time, you see everyone's being maybe affected psychologically. So that's why it's more important than to be able to show that consistency on mindset, because you can take advantage of other people's lack of consistency. So, but now look, we cannot impact on the other results. The only one we can impact on is ours, and that's all we have to try and do. We have to make the game really simple for ourselves, and play the game that's in front of us. And we've been consistent with that all the way through the season, and we ain't going to change now.
Brilliant. And just a quick final one. We spoke about how the fans are really excited and there's a little bit of nervousness for this game. Any message for your fans before this game against Doncaster?
Listen, I'm sure they've been nervous for 10 months. So they were nervous at this stage last season when we were chasing the playoffs, and we're counting down the games. It's part of the jeopardy of football. It's why we love football, because you're out there, you strip naked, so to speak, and you just want to smile at the end of the day, and that's what the supporters want. So honestly, the big thing I've tried to instill in everybody and try to communicate is trust each other. We trust the fans, they trust the team. I think there's a lot of good in that, and that's what we just have to believe in.
Brilliant. Good luck.
Thank you.
Hi Graham, just a couple from me. The situation both teams are in, this game, Yorkshire Derby, is this why you're in football?
Yeah,
Sort of thing?
yeah, 100%. It's definitely, because I was having a chat this morning on my way into work with a manager who's out of work at the moment, and he was just talking about how many plants he's chopped down in his garden, and and he goes, and they're perfectly good plants and trees. He goes, I need to be doing something, so I'm culling this and culling, and I just laughed at it. I was going, no, we have to find our excitement somewhere when we're, if we're not in work. And he's a great guy, and what it was, it just reminded me how I look at him right now, to not have to be bored chopping down a tree or cutting down a plant. That my days are filled with working with great people, working with quality players. The support we get, working for this magnificent club with 20,000 fans, every second game. This is a brilliant position to be in. I love it. It's difficult at times, I know that, but we all have difficulties in life. But the highs we get and the adrenaline rushes we get, the rewarding experiences we get. You can be a part of a club forever if you're successful, both as a player and as a staff member. So it's what we're all chasing.
I know there's a lot of responsibility on you, and it's such a huge game on Saturday, but are you excited about it?
Yeah, that's it. Honestly, I've learned to reframe it in my mind over 30 odd years of chasing success. I think you're young and naive, and you just think it's going to be put on your plate or it's going to happen every year, and then you sort of halfway through your career and you think, I've not been involved in something like this for 6 years, I'm craving it and all this lot. And then you're in it, season in, season out, and the pressure just becomes normal. It's there. It's more noticeable when it's not there. You become used to living with it, and then when it's taken away, that's when you're like, there's something wrong with me here. What is it? And it's the competitive, it's the competing. Day in, day out to help teams win games, help players fulfil careers, give fans what they deserve. That's it's such a stimulating job. It's such a stimulating role. I absolutely love it, and we all have difficult days. Chesterfield, it weren't a great job 2 minutes after kick, the final whistle, I'll tell you now. But 10 minutes later, when I was already thinking about how good my team played and how we can improve again, that's it, back on the horse straight away. So it's a brilliant play, and I'm excited about what we could potentially do. It's I'm fortunate enough to do it as a player and as a manager, and I know how long that fit. I'm still a part of the teams that I had success with 20 years ago. I'm still in that team. You know what I mean? That, if that makes sense, sort of thing.
And so is it almost difficult then to calm that excitement and put that onto the players, because they're going to be excited about what could possibly happen over the next week or so?
I think excitement's a good feeling. I think it's a good feeling to have. I think dread is a horrible feeling, isn't it? You know what I mean? And I don't see any of that in my players. I don't feel that in the support we get. I feel there's a jeopardy there which adds to the nervous side of it. But there's definitely an excitement of what we could potentially achieve. I don't see a negative side to excitement. You know, I really don't. We want to be stimulated, don't we, in our lives? We chase it if we haven't got it. Well, we get it in our daily lives, in our job. To get excitement in our job, we're in really fortunate positions.
Some people get it in the jobs, excitement, yeah.
Not sure, yeah, but that's it. But we will get it in certain ways. We're really fortunate we can get it in our job every day, every weekend, you know what I mean? But there's a price on the ticket, and you have to, you know what I mean? And that's what we have to understand. We have to pay the price as well.